How's it going, everyone? Joe Snow back here for another YouTube deck video. Today I want to talk about this Scoia'tael list that I built, and I've been playing to a pretty good amount of success. I've been playing it up to 45-50-ish on, I think I'm like 45-55 now on the regular ladder, and I've been messing with it in the pro ladder, and will continue to do so in the days to come. This is a Ciri Nova based deck. It's, based on the raw power of just being able to slam down a 25-point gold. This gave Scoia'tael something it really hasn't had in recent time, in a gigantic one-card finisher. Normally, if you get the Scoia'tael deck down to a 1- or 2-card final round, they're in a lot of trouble, because they don't have an insane way to generate this type of tempo. I guess there's the Hattori thing with Barclay Elves that can be decent from time to time, but it's not matching the raw power of this. So what we decided to do was build a control deck based around this that wants to use Ciri Nova here as a finisher. And what you'll notice about this list is it has a ton of pinpoint removal. I'm going to go over the individual cards in a moment, but first I want to go over the basic plan of the deck. The deck's very, very good at removing single targets, such as Impera Enforcers and things like that. Really, really powerful there. These kind of decks really do not stand a chance. And in fact, Nilfgaard Spies, I think, is this deck's best matchup. So I do think that that is the best matchup for the deck. Moving along, as you can see, we have to meet the deck building requirement of Ciri Nova, which is awkward, but not quite as bad as Shupe. We need to have exactly 2 copies of each of our bronze cards. So since that's the case, we're running a 26-card deck. You do have the option to cut 1 silver or 1 gold, which will get you to 25 cards while meeting the deck building requirements, but I don't think that that's actually proper. I've thought about it, haven't tried it, but I do not think that it's proper. So let's get into some specific card breakdowns. You really want to win round 1 also, as another side note. Round 1's incredibly important. Ciri Nova gets Igni'd all by herself. So what you don't want to do is get her Igni'd, get her Scorched, any of that stuff. Last Say is super important with this deck. As such, we make room for the Isen Grim combo, because this is a great way to open the game and potentially force people out of round 1 early. Winning round 1, very, very important with this deck. Hasn't been so important for a Scoia'tael deck since way back in the day. So keep that in mind if you're going to try the deck out and play it. Let's start with our gold package here. We can work top-down type of deal. So as I was saying, the Isen Grim is generally a card you're going to play in round 1 if you have access to it. He's very, very powerful. Thinning the deck, you really need to hit your Ciri Nova to win most games. So the additional deck thinning he provides is great, but he's mostly just in here for the raw tempo boost. Ciri Nova, as we talked about, our gigantic finisher. You almost never want to play her until round 3. This is how you win the game. Treat it as such. Royal Decree is, well, it's another way to find Ciri Nova, and it does, in fact, make her at 27 points in round 3. I don't know exactly why it works, because the way the card's worded is weird. Like, this puts it, it strengthens to 25 and this boosts by 2. Sure, so that's why it makes sense. But yeah, if you can save the Royal Decree for the last round, pull the Nova, it's 27, which is, obviously even better. Plenty of times, due to the amount of deck thinning that I have that we'll get to shortly, I do wind up using Royal Decree to pull Isen Grim in round 1, just because he's very, very powerful. And like I said, I can't understate the importance of pushing for round 1 with this deck. It's not something you have to win every time, but there are a lot of times where I've been playing the deck and just not taken my 2-card advantage and kept pushing, even to win the round minus a card, which was fine. Winning round 1 is just very, very important. Then we come to Shiryu. This is one of the newly changed cards, and I think he's amazing right now. He finally lives up to that awesome artwork he's got going on over here. This card's just insanely powerful. I can count on one hand the number of times I've used Epidemic. It's very, very few. He's generally a Scorch. But not only is an on-demand Scorch with a body incredibly powerful, because you can Scorch your opponent's only unit and leave a presence on the board. Let's say, I don't know, Magic Christmas Land, they somehow had a 46 strength unit carryover. I don't know how. But you couldn't just Scorch it down. Similar to Igni, it's the Scorch effect plus the body. Very powerful, instantaneous. The Epidemic is a little bit of extra flexibility. Very, very sweet. It's just an add-on, right? You're not going to be using it often. Once in a while, it will come up. But that is the gold package. I think this card is much improved and is very, very good right now. So then we come to our silvers here. Yavin, we want to spy. Since it is super important to win round 1, we're very oftentimes going to find ourselves in situations where we're going to win round 1 down a card, and we need that Yavin, particularly against decks that have carryover. The Yavin's super important. Another thing we want to do is we want to play short round 3s with this deck for the most part. So let's say I play Yavin in round 2. Now I can also, unless my opponent has a spy to counter with, I can also burn out all of the nonsense from my hand, because it's sort of locked in that I'm going to be on X amount of cards unless they pull off some crazy hero pass type of scenario on us. So the Yavin is very, very important to the deck. Would not play it without it. Cheruviel is just in here for solid value. Very good with Isengrim. Good, solid card. It's not, you know, the most important thing in the deck, but it is very, very good with the Isengrim, and this is how we win our round 1 a large majority of the time. Burza! We got good old Burza in here. He's very good. He's another single target removal spell, and he's very good because we combine it with the Elven Blade here. He's powerful. He's good. He's fine. He's solid. He's not necessary. You can tweak and tune. I tried to say both those words at the same time. You can tweak or tune your deck a little bit differently and not have this package in here. Right now, I like it. It's something I'm going to continue evaluating in the future, but it's solid. It's not bad. Ida. Ida has an Owl's Thunder to, once again, stick with the plan of single target removal. We really want to kill Enforcers dead, kill things dead, scorch away big guys, kill the medium-sized guys. Do not let them turn their engines on. No more great swords, no more Enforcers, none of that bullshit. Kill them all, burn them to the ground. The fog comes up once in a while, particularly against the new monster decks that are trying to take advantage of the moonlight. Because not only do you apply a fog to that row, but you'll also effectively remove the moonlight. So you get pretty solid value there. And clear skies, particularly today since the patch has dropped. At the top 50 of the normal ladder and on the pro ladder as well, I've been noticing a ton of weather decks. So it's pretty difficult to play the deck without Ida, and I probably wouldn't look to cut her here. Scorch is super powerful. That's what we do. We're a Scorch deck. We're scorching the hell out of everyone. We are just scorching them down. Card's great. Play the card. You know, bring the card back with Ethne, our leader that I didn't talk about. But yeah, Scorch is the most common Ethne target, followed by Marching Orders. Marching Orders is super powerful in this deck. First, it's going to pull you Elven Mercenaries, guaranteed. Then it's either going to pull you a Panther for more single target removal, or it's going to pull you Ida, and they largely function the same way in most positions. So it's not like, oh, which one will I get type of deal, which is really, really nice. You're sort of getting the same type of effect. Against 8 strength units, it can get a little wonkier, whatever. But the Marching Orders is very good. Once again, additional deck thinning. We're 26 cards. We don't have a ton of it. Every little bit of thinning we can cram into here. Super, super important. So I'm definitely a big fan. That was one of the later additions to the deck, as it has changed a little bit. I've been playing it yesterday and today. And yeah, I'm very happy with the Marching Orders currently. So then we get to our package of bronze, of which we have 16, 2 of each. The 2 sappers. Now, the sappers can be annoying. They make it so our scorches aren't turned on sometimes, but I think that the raw power that we need from the Isengrim has to be supplemented with these guys for now. I just don't see any other card that can particularly fill this slot. And I can't risk having dead Isengrims all that often, as there are a bunch of cards that you want to mulligan away with this deck anyway. So right now they're sort of a necessary evil and one of the worst cards in the deck. The Elven Archers, very good. They help you line up Scorches. They're solid 11s. They can ping your own guys. I've seen a couple of Fireball Traps and a couple of Rock Tossers. Obviously, very good there. Mostly you're using them for setting up Scorches or just for solid 11-point values. Against Eredin, they take down the Frost Dog, so they can't use their hero power to get a Wild Hunt Navigator and make a second one. So they have numerous uses, but, you know, it's just like a solid value bronze that's not bad. Nothing special about it, wouldn't cut it, definitely better than the Sappers. These guys, the Half-Elf Hunters, been insanely impressive so far. They're a 12 strength unit, which sometimes you just need. You just need a unit to slam down and play points. They're also one of the few proactive units in the deck should you lose the coin toss and you don't have something like an Isengrim or just even a naked Cheruviel to throw out there. You really don't want to lead on sappers in case your opponent knows what you're up to and they just sense it and take a pass, things like that. So it's nice to have a proactive play, and the best part about this 12 strength unit is it does not really get hit by Scorch, right? It's a 12, but it only functions as a 6 because it makes 2 6s. So it's very easy to put a decent chunk of points on the board in one card and not have to worry about it messing with your Scorches, which is quite nice because you're going to be Scorching early and often with this deck. The other part about this is it helps with Cheruviel. Note, they do spawn next to each other, so if you put them on the left or the right of Cheruviel, it spawns one unit, like you play the Hunter, and it spawns immediately to the right of the other Hunter. But it can fill up a whole side for Cheruviel to get max value out of his buff when he she flips up. So just a little bit of additional synergy there. It's sweet. Panther's been super impressive for me. There's just a ton of units that it kills. Single target removal. Stop their engine pieces. That is the theme of this deck. That is what we are doing. We are messing up those synergy-based decks, and we're messing them up badly. The Panther's very good. Make sure you use it before your opponent has 4 units on all their rows or whatever. As I have made a couple of misplays, you know, just messing with the new cards where I thought I could Panther something and couldn't. It does have a drawback. It's not just a straight-up 4 deal 7, but the card's quite good. Also, 11 points and flies under Scorch. Besides the Sappers, this is sort of a theme with the deck. Everything has low power because we want to be able to Scorch whenever we want. Elven Mercenaries, absolutely incredible in this deck. Additional deck thinning usually finds you removal. Even if you find the Reconnaissance, you're finding more removal one way or the other. Pretty much all of our guys are removal based. And this just sort of keeps the engine turning, makes it more likely that we can find our golds, and in particular our Ciri Nova. So the Elven Mercenary is quite important here. Alzur's Thunder, got a nice little buff to 9 points. Awesome, awesome removal spell. Just very powerful. Flies off of the Mercenary. We had Sages in here to even buy it back, but it was like the only things the Sage could buy back. Those wound up getting cut because they were a little too awkward. But it is of note if you want to try a Sage package in a deck like this that the Thunder can be bought back by them. It's one of the few things they can get back that you'd really want to include in this type of deck. Then we have Elven Blade. Elven Blade is sort of like a Thunder that's slightly better with the drawback. The drawback's very real sometimes. If you're playing against like a Spell deck, it can be a problem. The Elven Blade does just do a little more damage, and good old Burza pulls the Elven Blade, which is also really nice. Just another piece of our single target removal arsenal. An interesting thing to note, if there's no non-elves on the board, the spell will just fizzle. There's been multiple times where I've lost round 1 and my opponent dry passed round 2. So I've played an Elven Mercenary, pulled the Elven Blade. These are usually in matchups where they have a lot of elves. Pulled the Elven Blade and it just fizzled, so I had my 1 point against their 0. So that's just a nifty little trick you guys should keep in mind. Then we have Reconnaissance, which could definitely be Clear Skies. Now, I like Reconnaissance. You need some sort of thinning here. So one of those 2 effects I'm pretty sure is right. Once again, this deck still is, you know, we're working on it, but I think it's very good. It's at least showing a lot of potential. The Reconnaissance is because a lot of our cards are situational, particularly, once again, these annoying, filthy little sappers cause problems. When there's a dry pass situation, if you were to rally and hit a sapper, they don't actually put any points on the board, so he'll just have to burn another card, and that's just unacceptable. You can't be having that. The choice here can be really nice, whether you want to line up for a Scorch, or whether you just need points on the board, or whether 7's enough to get the job done. I've been finding this good. That being said, at some point I'm probably going to experiment with it as Clear Skies, which may cause the Sappers to have to be removed and a slight shifting of the cards, but right now I'm liking this. So that's pretty much the theme of the deck here. Short round 3s is where you want to get with it. One other thing I'd like to talk about a little bit is the mulligan process. You almost always want to mulligan away your Alzur's Thunders and your Elven Blades first. You want to put a high priority on anything that thins your deck. Like, you're almost never mulliganing away a Reconnaissance. you're almost never mulliganing away a Marching Orders, things like that. Your Elven Mercenaries, very, very good. You do not want to mulligan these cards away. It is of crucial and utmost importance that you are able to thin through your deck, particularly since we're over the 25 card limit, and we only have X amount of it in the deck. Not as much as I would like, but I think as much as we can realistically get in here. So keep in mind to mulligan away the spells so your Mercs and stuff have targets, and your Burza has a nice little target, and make sure that you have a ton of deck thinning. Other than that, kick some ass with the deck, enjoy it on the ladder. Let me know in the comments if you guys have been having success with the deck, even after just a day. Some people from my chat have been reporting some very good success as well. And I'll show you guys a little bit of what was going on here, just for a little, you know, validity. Moving along. And we've been piloting this deck exclusively today, and I don't know, we're sitting number 23 right now. How are we doing in America? Number 5, not terrible. But yeah, the deck's definitely showing potential. It's not perfected yet, but the idea is great. It's a blast to play. If you enjoyed Scoia'tael in closed beta at all, it plays very similar to that. So get out there, kick some ass, have some fun, and I'll catch you guys later. Enjoy.